Hello, welcome to another monthly demonstration video from Smile Create Repeat. In this episode, I'll be using supplies from the April 2017 surprise. Alright, let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we have our art spray. So you got to shake that up to make sure it's mixed well. Alright, and now I'm going to go in and use my pencil and do my drawing. And I've worked in my sketchbook already, so I have my idea down. And I'm just going to, actually show a little bit of the drawing this time, just so you can learn and see what I'm doing. So I'm drawing a head, and this is actually a tricky, this was quite tricky actually, trying to think of what I wanted to do, because I wanted it to be, because using the spray is kind of a big blotch of color that's going to be coming down. So I didn't want to use it with details, with fine details, because it just wouldn't translate. So I was trying to figure out some way to use it. What I'm drawing now is a head, so it's straight on. It's a tall, skinny head. That line is the midline for where the center of the head is, the nose. That's where that's about halfway. It's probably a little higher than halfway, but I'm going to do the eyes higher than that anyway, because I'm trying to create a stylized face. That's going to be the eyebrow. Then the nose comes down right about there. And that's the underside of the nose. And then it comes to a triangle underneath, because that's the shadow cast by it. And then the upper lip actually is shadow, because it goes, you got the lip there, this is the profile, then you have the lower lip here, down, and then the chin, and the nose. So this right here is this part, so that's dark. This is darker too, because the color of the skin is different, so you make that a little darker. But then there's more shadow under here, so I make that a little, and then a dark right there, which is this shadow here. And then we draw the chin, and then the neck is there. And now I'm going to do an eye. Eyelashes. And she's looking to the left. And this is tricky, so don't get frustrated with trying to follow along. Pause it if you need to. Practice if you need to, if you're anything like that. Kylie, talking to you and everyone else. This one was a real pain for me too, but it was a fun challenge, because it was the adventure of figuring it out, and then the aha when I figured, oh, I know what I'm gonna do, and then getting it. Well, we'll see if it works out that way. And then that's just her hair. So what I was talking about earlier is the big shape of color. That's going to be her hair. So her hair is going to be bright red. So that's what I have for the pencil. Let's see what we can do with the paint. Okay, so I'm shaking it, and I've tested this a little bit before, and it does have to dry, so we'll probably spray this. And and be careful with the paint. If you're a kid, or you're using it with a kid, you want to make sure you don't, obviously, or of course you don't want to spray this at you or at anyone, at your face, anything like that. And I'm also putting up a sheet behind it, next to it, to try to catch some of the overspray. And something else I experimented with, actually, Alex did. she's 7, when she was using it, here, if you pull the trigger slowly, it'll get lots of little, or some big drops, not a lot of paint. If you spray it, poosh, which I'll show you, hard fast, you get the finer mist with a lot more paint. And then what you can do is, while it's wet, if you get your face close to it and blow, you can blow the air out of your mouth, and that'll push the paint like that, so you can create some neat effects. And you can also see this line here where I had the page and it caught the overspray. So that's what I'm going to show you. Well, I'm going to spray this and then we'll go on from there. So shake it, make sure it's good and shaken. And I'm going to spray the whole thing. Okay, so you can see what a mess it made. And now I'm going to let it dry, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Alright, now that that's dried, let's work on the rest of it. So what I'm going to do is have this cool Sharpie paint pen that, again, shake it. Oh, and the first time you use it, read the directions on the cylinder. It says you got to remove the cap with the marker tip up and press that, and I think that breaks the seal or the safety or whatever. So then put the cap on it, shake it very well, and then when you start using it, you got to push to get the paint flowing. So make sure you follow those directions so it works for you. Okay, so that's it. So now I want the hair, I don't want her face pink. Alright, so I've just started with my white Sharpie pen. And when you first start using it, make sure you read the directions on how to use it. You gotta push the tip of the pen down, then put the cap on, shake it to mix the paint, and then the first few times you use it, you gotta dab it like that to get the ink flowing, the paint flowing. So what I'm doing here is I'm just painting in the white, and I'm trying to keep the pencils, but I know I'm going to have to go over it anyway, so I'm not trying that hard. And then, because I want the hair to be red, and the face to be the white paint. And maybe if you know what you're gonna do, so maybe here I could have just drawn the hair shape, right? And left her face. Ooh, that looks funny. Left her face without the drawing details. But now I'm also gonna go in, do an outline around her hair to break it up from the background, like that. And maybe some marks like that, just to see what it looks like, to make it a little lighter, add a little texture. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to let that dry again. This one dries quicker. Then I'm going to go in with my drafting pencil and to see how this one works on here too. And this is a softer lead, on purpose of course, so we can see the lines a little better, that's all. And you can go in and add lines to the hair. I think I'm going to leave it kind of flat, and I'm going to try, see if it erases the pencil marks under the paint. I think it might have a little bit. And this right here, the paint on the neck doesn't look right, because that looks like a beard or something, and I don't want her to have a beard, of course. So I'm going to go in and make that a solid. Oh, I should have. The neck there. I should have made a a loop or something to make it look like the dress or a shirt or something. So now I'm going to go back and then just go back in and draw over the paint. And oh, that's still wet down there because I just painted on it. So now that I'm doing that, I wanted to show you that that can look alright, but I think I'm going to go back, and that's what part of this is. This is experimenting, learning, you know, and just trying different things and seeing what happens. I don't like how that's all pink there, so I'm going to go over it with the paint, the white, up here too, really the whole thing. The nose I like actually, and the lips I like that they're white. So I'm going to let that dry and go back into it with the pencil, and I'll be back in a minute. Well, in the magic of TV, you won't know it's a minute. Alright, so that has dried, ready to go. And under the paint, I can still see the lines I drew. And this doesn't, it doesn't of course work as nicely as just on the paper, but I think it still looks good. Okay. And then I'm just going to put a little shadow under there, under the neck. To separate, well, the head and the neck. And that's really it. That's what I have. So that's what we got. So thank you. That's a short one this month. But if you go on to our blog, we're going to have a bunch of other ideas. Obviously things that I learned about and was experimenting with while I was trying to think of a great lesson for this. And I'm going to share those on the blog. So thank you again. I would love to see what you create, so please share it on social media. And tell all your friends how much you love Smile, Create, Repeat, because we'd love to send them a surprise every month too. Thank you and have a great month.